Welcome back to Professing Christians. This is Lisa. Today I'm going to read the post I put on the blog this past Thursday. This one, I don't know what to think about it. It wasn't what I was thinking I was going to post, but it ended up being something a little different. So I started studying the beloved city. And it's the one in Revelation 20, verses 7 through 9, where, let's see, Satan's loosed out of his prison. He goes to deceive the nations and the four quarters of the earth. And I'll read it when I get to the blog. And they compass the camp of saints about and the beloved city. So they surround the saints and the beloved city. I don't think that's two different locations. I think the saints being glorified and in a spiritual type of spiritual existence, that they are in the beloved city. And I think the beloved city is the New Jerusalem. What other city could it be? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read this. And it's weird because it's just how I and so many others, when we heard that the tribulation has already passed, there's no rapture, we're not looking for an antichrist, we're not looking for any of that now. Yeah, the wicked's still here and the antichrist spirit is still around and all of that, you know. But it's like that when I was like, no way. I mean, you're first being indoctrinated, it's like the flat earth, you know, being indoctrinated with a spinning globe and all that. Sorry if you're not into the flat earth yet. That's an important gateway to the truth. But our indoctrinated selves, having learned this and had it put into our psyche and our mind since we were little tiny children, we fight it. And then we become Christians. And then all we're taught is the narrative that we're waiting for an antichrist. And Jesus did not come back yet. And it's been 2,000 years. And we're still waiting for him to come back. Like, to me, that's ridiculous. But at one time, when I was still in the pre-tribulation doctrine, we'll say, I was like, well, of course. I mean, that's what we're all being told, and there's so much information on it, and how can all the masses be wrong? You know, and now it's like, did the New Jerusalem already arrive? Was that at the beginning of the Millennial Reign? Like, did Jesus just bebop around to all of these beautiful buildings where we've lost most of them? Like, these are just the ones that are left. These are the so-called remnant buildings of the Millennial Reign. Can you imagine the ones that were there that got destroyed? Can you imagine? And did they see the New Jerusalem coming down? John saw it in his vision. Is that where Jesus' throne was at? We know he's seated at the right hand of the Father. But his kingdom came to be with mankind. So did he have a kingdom on the earth, but no place for him to hang out in and go and sit and have fellowship with his glorified saints? I think he was here. He said, my kingdom is coming. I think he was here where it came to. All right, so enough about that. let's just read this, and let's just look at what it really says. This was fascinating to me. Let's talk about the beloved city of the little season. Revelation 20, verses 7 through 9. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. This, if we think about it, tells us we have two scenarios to consider. First, if the camp of saints already existed from the time of the millennial reign, and the beloved city did too. Second, if the camp of saints is gathered during the little season and the beloved city, which is none other than the New Jerusalem, came down during the little season as well, I think we'll find no evidence of the latter. However, there are two other things to consider that may give us our definitive answers. Could the beloved city be a different city than the New Jerusalem? And in what time frame do we place John's witness of the city coming down in Revelation 21, verses 1 and 2? Is it at a time before the little season, after the little season, before the final judgment, after the final judgment? Or did the beloved city come down at the start of the millennial reign? There's a lot to consider here. I think we need to break it down. It seems important. Number one, is the beloved city the same as the New Jerusalem? Yes. Our answer is in Revelation 3:12, the letter to the church at Philadelphia. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. That was to the church of Philadelphia. Yes, Revelation 3:12. I think we've established that the overcomers, after Jesus returned quickly, as he said he would do have their reward as being part of the holy city, New Jerusalem. Now let's add here the city of context out of Revelation 21. Verses 1 and 2, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. I have a side note. Is that a specific sea? Verse 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. This leads us to point number 2, which is, when did the city come down? Was it for the nations to bring their glory and honor into it during the millennial reign? Referencing Revelation 21, verses 24 through 27. Was it for the camp of saints to enter in to worship and enjoy time with their king? Did it go away to come back again? I don't think so. Let's look at Revelation 21, verses 9 and 10. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, come here. I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. But how do we reconcile the verse that comes right before these two? That verse being Revelation 21:8. Let's look at 7 and 8. He that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake, which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. The overcomers inherit access to the city. Oh, wait, the second death is still to come, and judgment is still to come. So what's in between the little season and judgment? Nothing. The little season ends with the camp and beloved city being surrounded, fire coming down from God out of heaven and devouring them. Them, not the saints in the beloved city, of course, Satan and the ones who surround the camp. Verse 10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. This is back in Revelation 20. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. These verses tell us that there is no earthly life between the end of the little season and the final judgment. Then how do we make sense of the new heavens and the new earth of Revelation 21:1? Well, something became apparent as I studied this. Revelation 21:3 says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Didn't this already happen during the millennial reign? I mean, once we drop the pre-trib doctrine, don't we have to examine just exactly what the millennial reign was all about? It seems it was all about Jesus, the express image of God, Hebrews 1:3, dwelling with mankind in his kingdom. Now, I'd like to take a look at another writing from that time. A guy named Baruch was a prophet and contemporary of Jeremiah. Jeremiah mentions Baruch as his scribe, but he was much more than that. First Baruch is in the Apocrypha. A Google search says the Apocrypha was included in the Bible for approximately 1,800 years before being removed from the Protestant Bibles in the mid-1800s. That's an interesting time frame. It was a standard part of virtually all Bibles, including Catholic and Protestant versions, until the Reformation. We already know we can't trust anything written in our history that happened during the mid-1800s or after. That's my opinion. Second Baruch, however, has a lot to say about the destruction of Jerusalem, being a contemporary of Jeremiah, and I think that's why his book was removed. Second Baruch 1:1 says, the word of the Lord came to Baruch, which makes him a prophet. There is much in this book that is end times related, but I want to focus on chapters 73 and 74. Chapter 73, it shall come to pass when he has brought low everything that is in the world, speaking of his wrath, seals, trumpets, vials, and has sat down in peace for the age on the throne of his kingdom. Baruch talking about the millennial reign. That joy shall then be revealed, and rest shall appear, And healing shall descend in dew, and disease shall withdraw, and anxiety and anguish and lamentation pass from amongst men. This matches Isaiah 65:20 and Revelation 21:4. And gladness proceed through the whole earth, and no one shall again die untimely, again Isaiah 65:20, nor shall any adversity suddenly befall. Judgment, abusive talk, contentions, revenges, blood, passion, envy, hatred, whatsoever like things shall go into condemnation when they are removed. It doesn't say when they're judged, it says when they were removed. This is the millennial reign, if you ask me. For it is these very things which have filled this world with evils. And on account of these, the life of man has been greatly troubled. And wild beasts shall come from the forest and minister unto men. Really? And asps, snakes, and dragons, they're real, shall come forth from their holes to submit themselves to a little child. That is Isaiah 11, verses 6 through 9. Chapter 74, it shall come to pass in those days that the reapers shall not grow weary, nor those that build be toil-worn, for the works shall of themselves speedily advance. I think this is talking about the buildings. Together with those who do them in much tranquility. It's a time of peace. For that time is the consummation of that which is corruptible, and the beginning of that which is not corruptible. The beginning of the incorruptible time. This happened to the saints. Paul spoke of it in Romans 8 and 1 Corinthians 15. It was glorious. I say again, how do we reconcile Revelation 21, verse 8? But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. This is the lake of fire. This happens at the end of the little season. Match this up with Revelation 22, verses 14 and 15. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For outside of the city, are dogs and sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, idolaters, and whosoever loves and makes a lie. It seems to me that the beloved city, the New Jerusalem, comes down at the beginning of the millennial reign. It's already here, with saints able to go in and out of during the time of the yet unjudged. Maybe what John is describing as a new heaven and new earth is the post-devastation of a sky ripped open by seals, trumpets, and vials of wrath, and the earth devastated and melted by God's fervent heat. I'm sure it all looked new to him. You know what else? I don't even know if I'm a partial preterist, full preterist, beloved cityist, or just a little seasonist. I think I'm dropping all eschatological labels. They are as divisive as the denominational ones. So that's the post that I just put in the Professing Christians blog. This is not a popular view. It is not a popular view. People are waiting for the lion to lay down with the lamb. But Baruch said it already happened during a time of peace. So were even the animals at peace? Like all the people were. There was no war. I don't care what history says. War is not of God. And Jesus would not have tolerated war. We already know we can't trust what history says happened. I'm going to leave it there. This is Lisa with Professing Christians. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.